Hello, my name is Lily, and I am 20 years old. Today, I want to share a story that is very close to my heart. This story is about my mother and the sacrifices she made for me. When I was a little girl, life was not easy for us. We lived in a small town. Our house was small too. It had only 2 rooms and a tiny kitchen. My father left us when I was 6 years old. After that, it was just my mother and me. She worked very hard to take care of me. She wanted me to have a better life. My mother was my best friend. She was always there for me. She taught me how to read, write, and dream big. Even when things were tough, she smiled and said, "We will get through this together, Lily." At the time, I didn't understand how much she was doing for me. But now, looking back, I can see how much she gave up so that I could have a future. Let me tell you about the struggles she faced, the choices she made, and how her sacrifices changed my life. As you listen, think about the people in your life who have done special things for you. After my father left, my mother had to take care of everything on her own. She didn't have a fancy job or a lot of money. She worked as a cleaner at a school. Every morning, she woke up before the sun. She would pack my lunch, braid my hair, and walk me to school before going to work. Her job was hard. She cleaned classrooms, scrubbed floors, and carried heavy buckets of water. By the end of the day, her hands were rough, and her back ached. But she never complained. Money was always tight. Some days, we didn't have enough to eat. I remember a time when we only had 1 loaf of bread to last us the whole week. My mother would pretend she wasn't hungry so I could eat more. She always said, "As long as you are happy and healthy, I'm happy." I didn't realize then that she was going without food for my sake. School was another challenge. My mother couldn't afford new books or uniforms for me. She would buy second-hand books and sew my uniforms herself. I used to feel embarrassed because my clothes looked different from the other kids. But my mother would encourage me. She said, "What matters is not what you wear, but what you learn." Even though she was busy with work, she always found time for me. At night, she would sit with me and help me with my homework. Sometimes, she would fall asleep while holding my books because she was so tired. Yet, every morning, she would wake up with a smile and do it all over again. My mother's struggles were endless, but she faced them with courage and determination. She never let me feel like I was a burden. Instead, she made me believe I was the reason for her strength. When I was in my final year of high school, something happened that changed everything. One day, I came home to find my mother sitting quietly. She had received a letter from her job. The school was cutting staff, and she had lost her job. Tears filled her eyes as she said, "I don't know how we will manage, Lily." For the first time, I saw my mother look worried and unsure. But she didn't give up. She started looking for other jobs. She took on small tasks like washing clothes for neighbors and selling handmade crafts. Still, it wasn't enough. I knew we were struggling. I wanted to help, but my mother insisted that my only job was to study and do well in school. Then, one day, an opportunity came. My teacher told me about a scholarship for college. If I could get it, I wouldn't have to pay for my education. I was excited, but I needed a computer to prepare for the application. We didn't have one. When I told my mother, she didn't hesitate. She sold her gold earrings, the only valuable thing she owned, to buy me a second-hand computer. Those earrings were special to her. They were a gift from her mother. When I realized what she had done, I cried. I told her she didn't have to do it, but she just smiled and said, "Your future is more important than anything I own." With the computer, I worked hard on my application. My mother stayed up late with me, bringing me tea and cheering me on. When I finally received the news that I had won the scholarship, she hugged me tightly and cried tears of joy. "This is the beginning of a new life for you, Lily," she said. Getting the scholarship changed everything for us. It meant I could go to college without worrying about money. It also meant my mother didn't have to work so hard anymore. But the real impact was not just about the scholarship. It was about the lessons my mother taught me along the way. In college, I studied hard. I remembered my mother's words, "What matters is not what you wear, but what you learn." I carried her strength and determination with me. Whenever I faced challenges, I thought about her struggles and sacrifices. They gave me the courage to keep going. My mother's love and support also shaped who I am as a person. She taught me to be kind, humble, and grateful. I made friends from different backgrounds and learned to appreciate the little things in life. When I graduated, it was not just my achievement. It was hers too. I told her, "This degree belongs to you, Mom. I couldn't have done it without you." The scholarship also allowed me to get a good job. With my first paycheck, I bought my mother a new pair of gold earrings. When I gave them to her, she smiled and said, "I didn't need this, Lily. You are my real treasure." But I could see the happiness in her eyes, and that made everything worth it. My mother's sacrifices changed my life in ways I can't even explain. She gave me the gift of education, but more importantly, she gave me the gift of love and hope. Now that I am older, I often think about everything my mother did for me. She gave up her comfort, her dreams, and even her precious earrings so that I could have a better life. It wasn't just the big sacrifices that mattered. It was also the small things, the late-night talks, the warm hugs, and the way she always believed in me. Her sacrifices taught me the meaning of unconditional love. They showed me that true strength comes from the heart. My mother didn't have much, but she gave me everything she could. She didn't just give me an education. She gave me confidence, courage, and a sense of purpose. I also learned that sacrifices are not always about giving things up. Sometimes, they are about making choices that bring joy to others. My mother found happiness in my success. She never saw her struggles as a burden because she loved me so deeply. Her story inspires me every day. It reminds me to work hard, stay humble, and always appreciate the people who support me. Whenever I face challenges, I think about her and how she overcame so much. It gives me the strength to keep going. I hope that one day, I can make her as proud of me as I am of her. I want to be the kind of person who can inspire others, just like she inspired me. As I share this story, my heart is filled with gratitude. My mother's sacrifices shaped my life and made me who I am today. She showed me the power of love, determination, and selflessness. I am proud to call her my mother. I hope this story inspires you too. Think about the people in your life who have supported you. Maybe it's your parents, your teachers, or your friends. Take a moment to thank them and let them know how much they mean to you. Learning English through stories like this can help you improve your language skills while also learning valuable lessons about life. Remember, every word you learn is a step toward a brighter future. Just like my mother always said, keep going, and you will achieve great things. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it touched your heart and inspired you to never give up. Always believe in yourself and the people who love you. Together, you can overcome any challenge. This story is my gift to you, just like my mother's sacrifices were her gift to me.